Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the PokerNews podcast, the second one of the year 2020. My name is Jeff Platt, joined by Chad Holloway. Chad, you got some traveling upcoming, hitting up the West Coast?
I will be headed to the airport this evening. Got to record this podcast first, but it's going to be a week at Thunder Valley, which we talked a little bit about last episode. Pretty excited about it. So hopefully next episode I can give you a little, recap of what my experience was like.
Okay, so at Thunder Valley, I know, of course, you'll be busy working. You going to get in any time yourself at the tables?
I don't know if I'll have time to play, but I'm fingers crossed I want to watch the Packers 49ers playoff game Sunday because I'm going to be out there. It's Sacramento, not quite San Francisco.
Sure.
But, being from Wisconsin, I just went to the Packers game where they played and beat the Seahawks at Lambeau Field.
You went to that game?
I did, yeah.
Wow, that is nice.
So here's a quick story about about the game is me and my dad had to meet somebody there to give them their tickets. And so we were just walking around the stadium and, I got the phone call from the girl that we're meeting to give her a ticket. So I said, oh, we happen to be by the Oneida gate, so we'll just stand here and wait for you. We were just randomly picked a spot to wait. Well, as we're waiting for her, a bus pulls up. And these guys start getting off the bus. And, I've been around the scene enough to know that, all right, this is some sort of special curbside celebrity delivery, something.
Yeah. Okay.
And so these guys start getting out, and they're really, really tall black guys. So my first thought is these got to be basketball players. And so then I start thinking back in my brain, and I piece it together, and I got confirmation afterwards from the bus driver that it was some LA Laker players. It was Rajon Rondo, Anthony Davis, and Javal McGee rolled off of this bus because they wanted to come see the Packer game. So I just right place, right time, I guess.
Wow, that's awesome. Lakers were in town like to play the Bucks or something like that. They were in the area.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they were just Packer fans or maybe Seahawks fans, but I'm pretty sure Packer fans, and they wanted to be there for this really big game.
Wow, I didn't know that. Was it cold there at the game? It looked absolutely freezing. I mean, but I know Lambeau is that's what Lambeau is.
Yeah, I mean, for folks like you and most people, it probably is cold, but for Wisconsin guys like me, it was all right.
You're like, whatever.
It was probably 20 degrees Fahrenheit thereabouts.
All right, as we wrap up the football talk, you think the Packers have it in them to ship the whole thing? Man, it's going to be tough this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to dig deep into their bags, their bag of tricks. But, if they can keep it close, I think they have a good shot. But, the last time they were in San Francisco and played, they got rolled over. So who knows? Who knows, Jeff?
All right, who knows? We'll keep track of the pack for our main man, Chad. Before we get into our stories, before we get into our guest, Chad had a great talk with Eric Danis, who runs the show over at the GPI with Hendon Mob, and they talk about some changes to the Global Poker Awards. Let us thank the sponsors of this program, Run It Once, Phil Galfon's crew. Run It Once, doing great work. Unfortunately for us, it's outside of the U.S., but incredible rakeback, great Legends point system. We have the splash spots, and then we have, for our viewing pleasure, a little Galfon challenge, which really seems to be picking up steam. And Chad, it seems like within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting going on that Galfon challenge. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's set to kick off on the 22nd of January. 6 confirmed matches right now. Bill Perkins, Chance Kornuth, who just bagged the chip lead at the WPT Gardens. So he's going to be on hiatus until March before that plays out at the Esports Arena. But, in between, he'll just take on Phil Galfon. You got Daniel Jungleman Cates, Brandon Adams, and then 2 online pros, Action Freak and Venny Vidi at 1993. So those are all set in stone, and Rob Young and Luke Schwartz have both accepted challenges. So they just got to iron out some details for those. So, I'm pretty excited about it. I like Phil Galfon. Most people do. So I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this.
And I heard the guys on the Fives podcast mention this, Donnie Peters and Lance Bradley, but it'll be kind of nice to bring back, the good old days where you would rail high stakes cash online, right? Where you just sit there and you'd watch these massive pots develop time and time again with some of the biggest names in the poker world. And I think that's what you are going to get with the Galfon challenge. And in addition to that, PokerNews podcast listeners get an exclusive deposit bonus. Just go to once.run/PNPod. That is once.run/PNPod. So thanks again to the good people at Run It Once. Chad, you mentioned his name, so let's just go ahead and jump ahead to that story. That would be Chance Kornuth bagging the chip lead at WPT Gardens. WPT Gardens, 257 entries. It's a 10K buy-in. I was out there for WPT 500. I think they've made a lot of really impressive changes there. They've gotten on the calendar at WPT. I think they've got to be relatively satisfied with this turnout. A lot of the heavy hitters came. I know Ali Mshurovich made a deep run. He finished in ninth. 554K up top, and it's kind of a nice blend. Like, you have some of your local LA grinders, and then you have the Chance Kornuths of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good turnout, especially when you consider the competition that was going on, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people headed down to Australia for the Aussie Millions. You had the UK Party Poker Millions event. So lots of competition that was happening. Borgata actually just getting underway today. So not overlap, but, some people might have stuck around on the East Coast and not traveled to the West Coast. So like you said, though, the LA area is strong. A strong number here, and looking at the turnout, looking at the top prize, it's over $500,000, 554,000 up top. Everybody's guaranteed $112,000. I'm pretty excited when this returns in late March 31st is a Tuesday. I was going to play out of the HyperX Esports Arena at Luxor. I was there last year for these delayed final tables, and I thought it was pretty cool. It was a fun experience, and it gives us in the poker media a little chance to hype it up a little bit and delve into these players, get to know them a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to ask your thoughts, because Sarah and I have talked about this, but you and I haven't talked about the delayed final tables approach that the World Poker Tour is taking. And this is one of their first set of three, and then they'll have another three that take place, that the final tables will take place right before the World Series of Poker. And which ones did you go to? Do you remember? Did you go to the first set, or did you go to the pre-World Series of Poker set?
It was the pre-World Series of Poker set.
Okay.
I think it was March of last year. I remember Frank Stapuchin won. He had his chicken wing on his score.
Of course.
And then David Baker also won
Mm-hmm.
his, and there was one more in between that's escaping my mind. But it was 3 days of action-packed final table fun.
And I think what they've done at the HyperX Esports Arena is they've really enhanced the viewer experience. I don't remember maybe the first one was Tournament of Champions a couple years ago at HyperX Esports Arena, and then I think there wasn't enough going on for the viewer in person. And nowadays I highly recommend, if you are a poker fan, if you are in Las Vegas, to go by the HyperX Esports Arena at the Luxor, because I think you'll just be fully entertained by everything going on. Listen, we love poker, but you and I will probably be the first to admit that watching live poker without hole cards can get a little tedious, can get a little boring. But I just think the entertainment value that's set up at HyperX, they've realized that was an issue at the beginning, and they've kind of transformed the overall viewer experience. Does that make sense? You see what I'm getting at there?
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't at the very first one, but I heard the improvement from the very first one to the one that I went to was tremendous. In that they engaged the audience more, did more giveaways, tried to put more information up on the screen and things like that. And if they continue to do that, continue to reevaluate, to continue to improve, it could become like a must attend sort of event every time they do it.
Yeah, so this first set of three, that it'll lead off with Gardens March 31st, and we'll also have the final table for WPT Borgata Winter Poker Open and the WPT LA Poker Classic. And we've got a team out already at Borgata, yeah?
Yeah, so the 2020 Borgata Winter Poker Open kicked off today. It's going to be 2 weeks of lots of poker, lots of side events, and PokerNews has a team there. We're going to be bringing updates from all of those events, and then, of course, the WPT main event towards the end. So it's the biggest series the Borgata has every year, and I'm excited. It's officially kicked off about an hour ago since we started recording this.
All right, there we go. We are underway, so you can check out the live reporting on PokerNews.com, where you can also catch a recap of Party Poker Live Millions UK. Chad, I was on the call on this one with Brent Hanks on Poker Go. The main event, 530 entries, more than a $5 million prize pool. So they beat the guarantee. I think that's pretty impressive, considering this club now. You can't call it a casino because Rob Young has decided to take most of the casino games out of Dusk Till Dawn and make it really just like a poker club. And it's a relatively small club. You know, Nottingham is not like full of 5-star establishments or full of this nightlife. So I think they've got to be pretty happy with 530 entries. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Same thing. Competition is happening. You have the WPT Gardens, you have the Aussie Millions. So this was certainly a strong turnout, in my opinion. Lots of superstars were there. I did watch you and Brent Hanks. I watched quite a bit of the coverage. Enjoyed seeing Hossein Ensan, the reigning WSOP main event champ. Yep, he made a deep run, went into the money, and lots of bigger names: Jeff Gross, Roberto Romanello, Ludovic Geilich. It was a fun event. It was a great production, and $1 million up top for Anton Suarez out of Sweden. Really love the story because the guy wasn't even planning to play the main event. He shows up to play PLO cash games. There's no PLO cash games running for him. So he says, let me jump into a satellite. Wins the satellite, goes on to defeat a lot of the crushers we just talked about, wins the top prize for $1 million. I mean, that's a great story right there.
Yeah, that's what dreams are made of. And maybe this just kind of lights the fire for him as far as no limit hold'em tournaments are concerned, because I mean, he's a unique player. He's an aggressive player. He's absolutely fearless. He was a blast to watch. You mentioned it. He takes down the $1 million first place prize. Heads up between him and German stone cold killer Christian Rudolph. Was super quick, was super fun to watch, was very entertaining. And I thought Suarez was fantastic. You mentioned the big names. James Romero finished in 3rd. And Maria Lampropoulos finished in 8th. So the inaugural Millions main event was held in Nottingham in 2017. Maria Lampropoulos took down that main event for more than $1.2 million. She finished 53rd the next year. And then in the 3rd running of the Millions UK main event, she makes the final table, looking to become the first 2-time Millions main event winner. She falls just short of that. She finishes in 8th place. And, Chad, we talk a lot about Kristen Bicknell and Maria Ho, and I think big years are ahead for them, but you can't forget about Maria Lampropoulos.
Yeah, I mean, she's a beast. It's she never goes long before having some sort of big score, or a final table, or even a win. She's staying relevant, and it's impressive. She is doing Argentina proud, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. No question about that. Cale Burns wins the super high roller and then finishes in 2nd place in the Millions high roller finale. João Vieira wins that. Let us move to Cale Burns' home country. That would be Australia, to talk about the Aussie Millions. And Chad, probably no surprise to you that Toby Lewis won another ring in Australia.
Toby Lewis, I love him. He's a beast. He's torn it up online in the past, continues to win on the live circuit, obviously has a lot of run good down there in the Aussie Millions. And I have a personal story, one of my favorites from poker, involving
give it to us.
Real quick, I'll try to condense it. Was when Phil Hellmuth won the World Series of Poker Europe. We were down in Cannes, France, and Phil had invited us to go over to the club to celebrate at like 3 a.m. So we went to my buddy's hotel room to change and get ready, and we were on the 1st floor, which is not street level but 1 up. And we had the balcony open, and it's 3 a.m. and here comes somebody wandering down the street, this totally empty street, and it's Toby Lewis. Okay. And so he doesn't see us, and I say to my one buddy, I said, hey, let's give him a little yell. And so I said, hey, Toby, and we quick ducked back in the room. Well, he pieced together where it was, and Toby had clearly had a lot to drink that evening. Okay. And he comes over to the balcony area, and he's looking up at it, and he just keeps saying, hello, hello, hello. And it just continued, just hello after hello. And me and my buddies were looking at each other, and one of them jumped over the bed and hit a light switch that lowered some metal shutters. And they went slowly but surely covering the balcony window. And the whole time, Toby Lewis was just saying, hello, hello. I don't know, just one of those moments, late night moments after working for 14 hours that has always stuck with me. So.
I could see that. I'm a big fan of Toby Lewis. Also, he takes down the shot clock 6 max for almost 150K Australian dollars, a little more than 100K USD. Won the 2018 main event. He won the 50K challenge last year. And this just in, Jorryt Van Hoof wins the 25K pot limit Omaha. I mean, this guy, you talk about life run good. Van Hoof just getting back into tournaments within the last couple of months, just getting engaged, Chad. So he gets engaged last week, and then he wins the 25K PLO this week. Pretty nice life, huh?
Yeah, I know that Will Shillabeer, who is down at the Aussie Millions for PokerNews, was very excited that Jorryt Van Hoof pulled this victory out, because the story here, of course, is, he just got engaged. He got his fiance a ring, and here he is now winning his own ring at the Aussie Millions. So if you look at the article, the recap, there's a great photo that shows, him wearing his ring with her hand on his, and, the engagement ring there. So I don't know, just a really cool story. And, yeah, a nice payday up top for a PLO event. 467 Australian dollars is the equivalent to about 322,000 US dollars. So, very good story, good payday, and a good way to start out 2020 for the Dutchie.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm in a group workout bet with Jorryt, and I told him that he owed us 17% of all tournament winnings. That's fair, right?
Why 17%?
Well, 17%. I mean, like, it's not super greedy, but we obviously helped because, he's working out. He's feeling good. He feels good enough to propose. She says yes because he's working out and feeling good. She's in the bet. She's working out and feeling good. He enters this tournament with, like, a fresh mindset because he is so fit, because he's so healthy. And I think we deserve a lot of credit for that, Chad.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that when somebody's living a healthy lifestyle,
yeah,
when they're working out, and when they're when they're in love, they're just going to have poker success.
Exactly. So, I'll get back to you on how those negotiations continue to proceed. All right, before we get to Eric Danis, this is something that, is important to us. We hit on it last week. We want to hit on it this week, and we want to continue to hit on it because these fires in Australia, sure, they might have gotten a little bit better since we last talked, but they're still devastating. They're still catastrophic. Dozens of people have been killed. An estimated 1 billion animals have been killed, and that's according to some reports. Some reports have it at 600 million. Regardless, it's an extraordinary loss of life, and I think it's important to give credit to Crown, the hosts of Aussie Millions, for donating 5 million Australian dollars to support the Australian bushfire relief. And we have to give credit to Lynn Gilmartin as well, who started a fundraiser on Facebook, Poker Players for Australian Wildlife. She and Cal Burns have been extremely supportive of this cause. You can find out more information on PokerNews.com. You can go to Lynn's Twitter page. You can go to Cale's Twitter page. I just think, Chad, that they're doing extraordinary work, and the poker community has responded really well.
Yeah, and it's not the first time that Lynn has kind of used her platform in poker and combined it with her passion, with her kind heart, her generosity to host a fundraiser. Back in 2017, she pushed for one when Mexico City was rocked by earthquakes, and she did some great things there, and now, of course, doing some great things in her home country of Australia. And with the Aussie Millions going on, there's a lot of eyes on the poker world, obviously a lot of eyes on there because of the bushfires and such. So really happy to see that the poker world has responded. I get updates on Twitter that mutual friends have been donating and seeing it and raising money and supporting the cause. So just kudos to her, because she took the initiative. She took ownership of saying, all right, I'm going to start this, I'm going to push for it, and I'm going to make it happen. And she really did.
One more result before we wrap things up here. Choctaw always gets big turnouts no matter what the competition is like. And Chad, you mentioned that competition. We got WPT, we got Party Poker, we've got Aussie Millions. The World Series of Poker circuit main event at Choctaw draws 1,065 entries, a huge turnout. That is no surprise. And it is a ring for Dustin Shoonover. He takes down more than $270,000. How's that for your first ring?
Yeah, I mean, that is a big payday, especially since he really wasn't planning to play the main event. Kind of the same thing we talked about at the Party Poker UK Millions. He came to play cash games, wasn't really a whole lot going on, so he decided to late reg the main event on day 1B, bought in to level 10, which is pretty deep in the tournament, and then goes on to ship it for $272K, a seat into the 2020 Global Casino Championship. He talked a little bit about what he's going to do with the money. $27,000 is going to go to the church that him and his wife support. He has 2 daughters, one of which is 13. He's already thinking about college because he says that he's going to let her choose where she wants to go to college. So he's setting aside the money for that, which I think is certainly pretty cool. And we had a reporter there, Anthony Thompson, was doing the live updates, and he actually caught up with Dustin Shoonover after his win. We got a little clip. Here it is.
Dustin, how you feeling right now? You just took down the main event. You had a huge chip deficit to come back through. Tell me what you're feeling.
I feel good, man. Feel good, just, grinded it out, man. Grinded it out. I remember yesterday, I didn't start till I think 10th round or something. I came up here to play cash.
Really?
And I was like, man, I can still buy in. So, yeah, and then got down to, I think, 14, 15,000 and just kept grinding, man. It's the same thing out here. So, I'm playing, I make plenty of money, man. I was playing for the ring.
Okay. Yeah. You own your own oil field or oil?
Oil company, yeah.
Okay.
With your old wells, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm drilling one right now. So I'm like, man, I got to win this thing. I got to let them know, man. Hold on.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And
so
then
when did you start playing poker or getting into it for fun?
Oh, man, hell, I used to play poker in high school, to win my lunch money. Literally, middle school, high school. So, yeah, we've been playing my whole life, man.
Nice.
All right, congratulations again to Dustin Shoonover for the win. A couple other side notes, Jeff, from WSOP circuit at Choctaw was, we talked about it last episode, Maurice Hawkins shipped his 14th ring in one of the side events, and a couple other side event gold ring winners. Corey Bogart was a name that I recognized, Jason Daly, Kyle Chance, Jared Hemingway, Alan Purcell, some of the guys who have been around the poker world for a while, shipped some rings. And then, of course, congratulations to Steve McCartney. He finished as the casino champ. So every WSOP circuit has a main event winner that wins a 2020 Global Casino Championship seat. And then the best overall player from the results throughout the entire series is deemed the casino champ. They, too, win a GCC seat, and that was Steve McCartney after he had 6 cashes, 4 final tables, and 1 gold ring victory. So we'll be seeing him in August at Harris Cherokee trying to get that bracelet.
That much is true. And you see in his winner's photo, he's got the 8 deuce of diamonds. So
he must
lesson
like
to be learned for all of us. So just play the 8 deuce more, right?
He likes to mix it up, I guess.
All right. Well, the WSOP circuit does move to Thunder Valley in Sacramento. Chad, you have a good trip, all right?
Sounds good. We will do another episode when I get back, and I'll give you the full rundown.
Sounds good to us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Run it once, and as the great Sarah Herring would say, deuces.